Factor the following problem by using the grouping method. So remember, when you're thinking to factor, the first thing you should look for is a greatest common factor. And so when I look at these three terms and I say, what's the greatest common factor, I notice that it's -1. So before I begin, I'm going to factor out a -1. So that's going to make this x squared plus 12x plus 20. From there, I'm going to write out my a, b, and c using this expression which has that -1 factored out. So a is 1, b is 12, and c is 20. I'm going to make a factor table, so I need a, c, and b. So a times c, 1 times 20 is 20, and then b is 12. So I'm looking to find two numbers that multiply to make 20 and add to make 12. I could do 1 and 20, I could do 2 and 10, I could do 4 and 5. I'm going to add them up. 1 plus 20 makes 21. That's not it. 2 plus 10 makes 12. 4 plus 5 makes 9. So what I notice is that I have 2 and 10 as my factor pair. Okay, this -1 is just hanging out in the front here. We've pulled him out already. And what I do with my factor pair is I take this middle term and I break it into two pieces. So I'm going to break this into plus 2x plus 10x plus 20. And again, the order doesn't matter. Okay, the important thing to remember about this method is it's called the grouping method. So we're going to use factor by grouping. Group the first two terms together and group the second two terms together. Now look, what do the first two terms have in common? What do the second two terms have in common? So I know that the first two terms have an x in common, and the second two terms look to have a 10 in common. So again, this -1, he's just going to be at the front in the answer. So I factor out my x. What I'm left with is x plus 2. And then I factor out my 10. 10x divided by 10 leaves me with x. 20 divided by 10 leaves me with 2. Again, those two leftover parts are the same, so I can move them into the front. X plus 2, and I factored them out, so I'm left with x plus 10. So this was factor by grouping, and I got my thing in factored, my expression in factored form.